Hey, Pensacola Bay, Brian here with another ministry resource to help our churches get stronger and healthier, our families as well. I'm here with Dr. Thompson, the director of our counseling ministry. We are bringing you another topic that'll help you just be equipped to tackle the challenges in the home. I'll admit this is a really difficult conversation that we're going to look at today. How do we help children through, when there's the topic of death comes up in the family? And so got a couple of questions that Dr. Thompson is going to give us just some guidance on through these very unique conversations needs to happen. So what's the difference between how adults grieve and how children and kids grieve?
Hey, that's a great question, Brian. Kids are self-centered, not selfish, but self-centered. And so everything is about them. And so when kids grieve, they really think about, how is this death or loss going to affect me? Who's going to make my lunch? Who's going to take me to the park like Grandpa Joe used to take me to the park? And so those are the kinds of questions that kids want to know the answer to. Who's going to fill the gap in my life that person used to fill? Also, kids are concrete thinkers, and so we want to be cautious in the ways that we talk to children about death, because words that are abstract don't really make a lot of sense to kids.
Okay. And often these can easily happen when death is, let's say, it occurs in the home, but also outside the home. Is there any do's and don'ts for conversations, whether it's if somebody's passed away that's a close relative or just connected to the family? Any do's and don'ts on these conversations?
Absolutely. We want to be really careful with those platitudes that sometimes adults say to each other because it's awkward and we don't know what to say. So we don't want to say things like, well, they're asleep in Jesus, because kids are concrete. Yeah. So then, they think, well, gosh, I'm not going to fall asleep because I may never wake up, right? Or we don't want to say things like, well, God needed them as an angel for him, and because it's theologically not correct. Sure. But also then that kind of puts God in a bad light. So we want to be careful of those things that are platitudes that kids just might not get. As far as do's, we want to be really clear in our language with children. We want to answer the question that they ask, but only that question. So if they ask what happened, we don't want to say a lot of other words other than that person. They died. The body that was the part of them that they had is no longer alive, but the part of them that's really them, that's the part, if they were a believer in Christ, that's in heaven now.
So in a sense, what we need to do is avoid the platitudes, be clear on what was said and ask those questions, but make sure we stay away from theological confusion.
That's exactly right.
One time I've noticed often as a pastor is parents will ask, what do I do about the funeral? What do I do about the burial? Should they go? Should they not go? Parameters around that, what guidance could you give for kids in the funeral and burial?
It's really up to you as a parent to decide if the child should go or not go, depending on their level of maturity, their relationship with the person who has died. The most important thing is that someone, whether it be the parent or the children's minister or the pastor, some adult, has a conversation with the child ahead of time to help them know what's going to happen at the funeral, that you're going to go, that there are going to be a lot of sad people. Some of them may cry. It's okay for you to cry and be sad. There's going to be a box if there's a casket. If it'll be open, the person will be there, but they won't be really them. That's just their body. They're not in there anymore. You can touch the body if you want to, but it will feel different. So they know, kids are very tactile. They know all the things at the burial, so they know if they're going to put the casket in the ground, the child knows to anticipate that and to remind them again, but that's not really them. The real them that you love that's the person that's in heaven.
So walk with them maybe ahead of time, giving the explanation. Here's what you will see, so they're not surprised. And at the same time, be able to separate that conversation between body and spirit. A great spiritual conversation. Well, these are some discipleship tools that you've heard. And one of the most difficult points that anybody can go through, especially children. And so this is a resource that we want you to have so you can better speak into your children's life and the children of those that you're able to invest in. If you need any help or guidance or resources on this topic or many others in regard to counseling and children's ministry, don't hesitate to contact us here at your Pensacola Bay Baptist Association with the Faith and Hope Counseling Ministry. God bless.